Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the FPL Newbies. Now, Game Week 3 has finished, and the day we are recording this video, we are almost on the verge of the transfer deadline day, and we have seen some crazy transfers over the past few weeks. Of course, all of those will be impacting our teams, and whether we will be looking to bring them or not, we will discuss later in this video. But first, let us look at how both of us have done in this week. Going over my team, it was pretty disappointing. Uh, First of all, the captain fell was what proved to be a big rank killer. I had Bruno captain mainly because of the transfer news that broke a few days ago. That was my main reason for going Bruno captain. Otherwise, I was also fixed on going Antonio. I had a total score of 54 points, and compared to the top 10k average, the top 10k average was around 66. So I mean, the thing is, when we are at a higher rank, one bad game week and 54 points doesn't even comes under a bad game week, to be fair. But when we are at this higher rank, this can lead to a major downfall, and that's what happened. I mean, I had the same as the average score in FPL, but the main factor was the captaincy decision. I mean, honestly, I did not think that Bruno would not score a single point. I wasn't expecting a haul or anything, but I was expecting at least some points. So that was kind of disappointing. So my old rank was 359k, and it dropped to 637k. My safety score was 65. I mean, the thing is, even with Antonio captain, I would have had a rank drop. I would not have reached 65 points even with Antonio captain. And I think that's mainly comes down to the fact that Ben Rama, Sufal, Mahades technically did not blank, but considering the way Manchester City scored so many points against Arsenal, it can also be considered as a blank. So those are the main players that did not deliver the points for me, which is why I could not catch up on the other people in the top 10k. So, anyways, if I take a look at my team, Sanchez 2 points. I mean, Brighton were kind of expected to keep the clean sheets. So, I mean, we did not expect Sanchez to do that well this year. I mean, as we had discussed in the first video itself, we were we were sure that he would not replicate Martinez, but at 4.5, an established goalkeeper, I mean, we were not presented with a lot of choices, honestly. Amate, again, disappointing. I mean, I did not think Leicester would concede against Norwich. This is literally Norwich scored the first goals against Leicester, and I was stunned. I thought Amate was a sure shot 6 points. Shaw, again, I mean, United defense looked shaky. They were saved by Varane, who scored a lot of FPL points. He got 3 bonus assists, everything. So what a debut! And again, I mean, defense looked shaky. Shaw was lucky to come out with those points. Sofal also mildly disappointing. I thought West Ham would keep the clean sheet. So I mean, Sofal Sofal hasn't yet delivered up to the marks or what we had expected of him. But West Ham have bolstered their defense since then. They have got Zoma, and I think that will not only more than Sofal, that will help Criswell, because people are already talking about Criswell from the corners and Zoma heading down the balls and getting those points. But even I think that this will further solidify their defense. They already have a great midfield. I mean, West Ham look like a complete team. Of course, like they will have the Europa League, so we have to see how does that affect their team. I mean, if rotation comes into play or not. Coming to the midfield, I had Barnes in my team in game week 2. I switched to Ben Rama. That was my only transfer last game week. I mean, I can't really complain. I mean, Ben Rama was on a streak, so I mean, it's really mad that we are expecting a 6 million. I think his price has his price rose, but still, in that price range, we can't expect a player to deliver in 3 game weeks consecutively. So I am fine with 2 game weeks. Bruno, as I said, disappointing, but United as a team did not look like they would score a lot. I mean, as we said, the only reason that they scored so many against Leeds is the fact the way Leeds play. They're so open at the back, which helped Bruno to score. Of course, Bruno scored once, which was against Wolves, which was offside. So that was kind of unfortunate. But other than that, they did not create a lot of chances. So in terms of attacking prospect, Bruno, yeah, and of course, like we will leave that segment for later. And Greenwood, I mean, Greenwood was, again, as we talked about in the previous video, doesn't need any lot of chances. I think he missed one chance, and this was the chance that he scored was his second or third chance or something, and he scored. I mean, when I placed Greenwood in my team in game week 1, it was solely on the fact that out of most of the Manchester United players, he was the one who had the best preseason. He participated in all the games. Of course, he was in the World Cup. So that was my reason on picking Greenwood. I thought, yeah, I could get 1 or 2 returns, but to get returns consistently for 3 game weeks, I hadn't expected that. So he also acted as a differential. So that was a plus point to Mahrez. I mean, Mahrez owners, including me, are really lucky that we got points this game week to last game week also. He did not start this game week, same thing. And Man City scored a lot of goals in the both game weeks, Norwich, Arsenal, against, I mean, shaky defense. They capitalized. I mean, everyone expected Manchester City to do that. So it's kind of disappointing that Mahrez wasn't a part of that. Still, we very lucky to get those 6 points last game week and 4 points assist this game week. And Salah, I mean, against, honestly, I did not expect Salah to return this game week. I mean, if Salah hadn't returned, it wouldn't have led to a major decrease in rank because he's owned by so many managers. But I mean, penalty he wasn't going to miss, so that was kind of fortunate. Ings, again, I mean, as we compared Ings with DCL in the last video, DCL returned again. Ings did not score, but at least an assist is fine. So Ings, I mean, managers like me who have Ings are also kind of lucky to get those points because he created goal. Like, he has so low XG, so the fact that he still scored goals and provided with us with an assist is a big plus point. And I think, like, many people will be looking to shift him out now that his Aston Villa's fixtures from game week 4 are not that great. Antonio, I mean, I think in game week 1 we were talking about whether Antonio will become essential or not. I mean, even if Antonio is, I don't think, like, obviously we take the word essential with premiums, but even so, I think Antonio is getting close to an essential. I mean, his price has rose from that 7.5 million, but out of out of the mid-priced forwards, he has looked the best. I mean, other than DCL, only he has been returning consistently, not only in terms of goals but in assists too. And congratulations to all those who had captained him this week, because it paid off. It definitely paid off. So that was my overall review of this game week. Kind of kind of disappointed with the decisions. Captaincy did not work for the second game week in a row. Last time I had Salah captain, so that is something I have to improve. This was my major problem uh, past in the past season too, that I could not get the captaincy decisions right. And of course, the captaincy decisions hampers our rank a lot. So that is something I am hoping that I can make spot on decisions in the game weeks to come. What do you think about my game week? This week?
About your game week, I mean, yeah, the most disappointed are definitely Leicester defense. I mean, against Norwich, I mean, who hasn't like scored in the first 2 matches, I think, and Leicester allowing them to come back into the match was pretty disappointing to see. Although I don't own a Leicester City defender in my FPL team, but still, on a like watching the match, it felt pretty disappointing that I expected there will be a huge goal difference between Leicester, like the attacking attack that Leicester had and the midfield they have and defense, like all over team, they are way better than Norwich on paper. So you would expect something like 2-0 or 3-1 or 4-1 type of scoreline from this match, but it ended up like a very narrow win for Leicester in the dying minutes of the game. So yeah, Leicester as a team hasn't been looking the most confident and the most sharpest. So I think Leicester assets aren't like performing up to their potential as we had predicted earlier. And second of all, yeah, Mahrez is a very like as you said, like you people got lucky who are own Mahrez, but yeah, Mahrez when he came from the bench last match too and this match too, and he scored and assisted. Like I don't think he can do anything more than that coming from the bench, and I think that's decent for him. And Greenwood, I said last in the last video that he just scores from any position and from any chance he gets. He finishes half chances, and I took a gamble and hadn't taken Greenwood to save up one transfer because I didn't want to use my wild card in this international break. So I wanted two free transfers before game week 4. So I took a gamble and Greenwood scored, and I can't blame that to anyone because yeah, the Wolves was on paper a winnable fixture for United, and Greenwood, the form he is in, he like it was probable that he would score. So yeah, congratulations to all Greenwood owners, and I think now I'll be looking forward to bringing him in since he is in good form. I don't think with Cristiano Ronaldo's transfer and everything going on, I don't think his place is getting endangered for now, at least until and unless Rashford returns into the team. And Fernandez, yeah, I captain Antonio, and like I told last match that Wolves may be a tricky fixture on paper. Like Manchester may not get so many chances or can score so many goals like they did in the opening fixture. Seeing their Southampton game, Wolves was kind of a tricky fixture because Wolves may not be the most clinical team now. Like they can't finish their chances, but still overall their midfield and everything, they have a very solid team. And yeah, as expected, the match was really good, and United came as the winners. So Bruno not getting points isn't a huge surprise for me because he played a much deeper role. He has been playing that deeper role since the Southampton match, and yet his place in my as far as my team is concerned, I will the upcoming fixtures and Newcastle and all that fixtures are coming up. So I think I will keep Bruno for now, but I think his place will get endangered provided that now Ronaldo has been announced officially, and I think penalty duties will directly go to him, and people will eventually move on from Bruno. And yeah, so for me, that wasn't a big surprise for me that he didn't perform. Benrahma, yeah, I mean he gave two double-digit returns back to back, and there would have been a time that he would have blanked. So yeah, I brought him in place of Smithrow because I had the funds, and kept Barnes because it was the Leicester was facing Norwich for that reason. um Benrahma blanking also didn't surprise me a lot. And Antonio, to be honest, I captained him, but I didn't expect another double-digit return. I expected a goal or maximum an assist because like he had been giving massive hauls since game week one. Like I think game week one was also a 12 pointer or 11 pointer, and game week two has been a 13 pointer, and he again gave an 11 pointer. So like three back-to-back double-digit hauls, and yeah, like Antonio Cappers has been like they have been rewarded very well. And yeah, so with Crystal Palace fixture, I mean they have like the attacking is very good. West Ham, the ball transition from defense to midfield to attack has been really great. But as you said, like Sufal has been disappointing because the center backs hasn't been at their best. And with Zuma's inclusion into the team, I think their defense will get better from this position. So expecting a little more returns from their defense, be it clean sheets or assists. But Sufal as an individual has been playing really well. I mean, if you look at those matches, he has been putting in some good crosses and good passes. Like those can be easily converted to assists. So I think I will stick with Sufal now. His price is not like sky high or something, so he easily get, even if he gives 1 point per match, I think it's very soon that he will be giving major hauls. And yeah, I don't own Danny Ings, and Ings, he's like last match he scored a goal that was literally, that wasn't even a chance. As I said, it was a brilliant individual goal, and this time also he assisted. And Aston Villa kind of suffering the same situation like Leicester. Like they're on paper they're looking a great team, but they aren't performing up to their potential. So Leicester and Aston Villa has been, I guess, the most disappointing so far in terms of potentials. Like their assets are great, but the returns are not coming from them.
Yeah, yeah, very well said. And Aston Villa faces Chelsea in game week 4,
Yeah, yeah,
and Martinez and Buendia won't be in that fixture because they both have been called up for the national duties, which are in red list countries, so they have to quarantine. And I can only imagine what Chelsea would do to them without Martinez. And yeah, so let's move on to your team now. 59 points, and I think like pretty great considering everything. It is like much closer to the top 10k average, which is why you still had a like a really small red arrow. It's kind of constant with your compared to your old rank, so not a major change, but still okay considering many people dropped in rank significantly in this game week. So yeah, tell us how what you thought about your team this week.
yeah. I mean, in terms of rank, I guess it hadn't changed drastically. And to be fair, I think I'm like close to catching up with those who had started with 100 pointer in game week 1, and with many conditions like Bruno, those who captain Bruno, like, and all that conditions coming in and stuff. I think I'm pretty close to catching up with those, like those who scored a century in first match itself. So I'm taking things slow. As I said, I saved one transfer. I didn't take the risk of bringing in Greenwood and like not and getting my free transfers to zero. And like I did like what, two, I will get two transfers for the game week 4 and made only one transfer and brought in Benrahma for Smith Rowe. So I get two transfers for game week 4, and I don't think I will be needing the wild card for now, as many people will be tempted to play the wild card provided all these new signings have come into place. And today is the deadline day, so many more transfers can be expected to come in the near hours. So yeah, from my team I am pretty much satisfied. Yeah, maybe a 1 point away from that 60 mark, 60 point mark, but I am pretty much impressed with my team. As I said, my captain had clicked brilliantly. And Tony, like he was the most transferred out player this week, but I held on to him. I trusted him, and he provided returned with a goal and one bonus point. So that was like that was a bonus for me. I didn't expect him to
I
score a goal.
mean,
Mm,
Tony was the reason your rank did not drop massively,
yeah,
because if Stones had played somehow, I mean, you would have still got the 6 points,
yeah,
but if
yeah.
he had come as a substitute, then it would have been very
Yeah,
disappointing.
initially I had started Stones and dropped Tony to the bench because I didn't expect, well, like he gave two consecutive blanks and he hasn't been playing the most attacking role for Brentford. So I started Stones in hope that maybe this may be the time that he will eventually start now. But again, Laporte started, and I think like the roles have changed now. Last season it was Laporte playing in Champions League and Stones playing in Premier League or something. I distinctly don't remember, but I think this time around, Stones will be playing the big matches in Champions League, and Laporte, I think, will be getting more minutes in the Premier League. And so I am very much tempted to now get rid of Stones because for to avoid further price drop. And he has only like 5.4 now, like only zero point 0.1 he has dropped. So I can still bring in a cheap defender in place of him and make funds for reinforcements in midfield and forward. So yeah, and as I said, Tony was a bonus for me, and Trent, even though not contributing, I don't think he assisted or scored anything, but still he got 2 bonus points there, and that was a huge bonus. And I didn't expect but Trent will be giving 2 bonus, even blanking in this game week. So that was a bonus. Shaw kept the clean sheet. Sufal, as I said last time, that hasn't been the most impressive West Ham defensively. So I'm not very much upset with Sufal's 1 pointer. And Salah scored penalty, got all 3 bonus point, 10 pointer. Barnes, as I said, he hasn't been the most attacking. Like he's playing a much deeper role. He isn't going into the box. He isn't taking much shots, and neither is he crossing the ball that much. So yeah, I think that's the end of my patience for Barnes. I mean, yeah, like he can give points in the very next match, but we can't rely on that probability. And the fact that Barnes is further facing Manchester City after the international break further will drop his price, and I won't be having the funds to transfer in Greenwood. So I think Barnes will now go out of my team. And Rafinha, again, Leeds United. We haven't talked about Leeds United. Leeds United is another team, along with West Ham and Leicester, who West Ham, not Aston Villa, sorry, Aston Villa and Leicester, who hasn't been the most clinical in terms of attacking. I mean, it's expected that Leeds United won't be the most solid defensively. I mean, they can concede a lot of number of goals, but the speciality of them last season was they scored the same number of goals in return too. I mean, like if you see their losses, huge margin losses, they were like 5-2s and everything. Like they scored, they conceded, but they still scored. But they can't score this time around. Like first match, Eiling scored from a half chance. Second match, they haven't been the most convincing. The Bamford scored this week, but that was kind of a very lucky goal. The ball ricocheted off the defender, Burnley defender, and he tapped it in. And last week, Rafinha scored from a half a chance, but he wasn't the sharpest throughout the 90 minutes. And again, this match also, Rafinha actually looks good. Like he creates those chances. His dribbling is very good. His passing is good, but there is no one to finish those chances in the box, and he isn't a clinical striker, so I can't expect goals from him every day. But you would expect that Rafinha gets an assist or a couple of assists at 6.5. So Leeds hasn't been the most impressive attackingly, and they haven't been able to get the whole 3 points in the first 3 matches. And Rafinha is also a concern, but at 6.5, I don't think he's like him blanking is a major concern. Like if his price was like 7 or 8, then I would have considered getting him out of the team. But since his price is like 6.5, and you don't get many attacking players at 6.5 or at that range, I mean, you don't get a lot of options at that range. So I think I will be sticking with Rafinha for the time being and see how Leeds fare in the rest of the upcoming matches. I think Leeds will come back. I mean, they are a solid team. They have good attacking players. I mean, they aren't the strong defensively, but they have the knack of scoring a lot of goals, and I think they can come back. I mean, they have every potential to come back. Benrahma, as you said, like he was on a 2 match streak, and him blanking wasn't the biggest of surprise. And Antonio, again, a sensational week from him, an 11 pointer. And as you said, he is now, I think, an essential because his price is at 7.9. And with him further, Chris, I think he will be facing Southampton next week. So, I mean, Southampton also aren't the strongest defensively. So, would expect West Ham to score goals against them. And his price will soon go to 8.0, which is almost the same price as TCL now. Like in 4 game weeks, his price has been raised to 0. 0.5 increase. So I think uh, like he should be a priority now for for all FPL managers.
Yeah, I mean, talking about Leeds, they haven't been convincing. I mean, they faced United in the first match, and it's never a good way to start when you concede so many goals in your first match. I think they will come back. The next match with Liverpool, so
Yeah,
that might be a bit concern to them. But after Liverpool, they have a solid run of fixtures. So I am also planning to bring Rafinha in that time period. And the fact is, they have brought Daniel James. Now, I am not saying that Daniel James goes straight into their team because their wingers are Haddison and Rafinha, and Daniel James does not replace any of them. But they wanted Daniel James for a long time. Bielsa wanted him, and everyone is talking about how he will work in Bielsa's system. Now, the thing is, James did not fit into a team, and whenever he played, it was against a low block, and he did not have that much of a creativity to break down a low block. Now, of course, against Leeds, teams would not set up a low block, and that attacking that attacking fluid football that Leeds play may benefit Daniel James. And of course, it may also mean that Rafinha or Haddison gets one of them gets substituted earlier. But I think like if people are bringing in Bamford or something like that, then it could be a good option. And I mean it's a wait and see. But the fixtures speak for themselves after Liverpool. So I mean Rafinha, I don't think it's a major concern to sell for anyone.
I mean,
And Stones,
like
yeah,
one point is that Haddis, like Rafinha still, I mean, he looks sharp whenever he plays. I mean, he may not be returning points in FPL wise, but in a sporting sense, Rafinha is playing well. But Haddison surprisingly hasn't been the sharpest. I've seen his, like I'm seeing him play for 3 matches now. Last season he was like so good. He was taking on defenders. He was crossing the ball so well. He was taking good shots at the goal from long range. But this time, he something is missing from him. Like his passing hasn't been the great. He hasn't been crossing well, and like he almost has forgotten taking shots, and that's a huge concern. I think Daniel James, if Bielsa feels that Harrison needs to be dropped, then I think James can has the potential to bench Harrison and start at that position.
yeah, that is also I think something that we should keep our eyes on. And I mean, other than that, I think all of the others you explained pretty well. And Stones, I mean, yeah, I don't think anyone could have predicted that Stones would not start in the first 3 games itself. So we have to see what Pep does in the Champions League
Yes.
match. Okay, so let's talk about transfers now. And talking about transfers, of course, the biggest transfer has been done. The GOAT is back, and we were all waiting to see how much he would be priced at. Now, we had guessed that he will be a 12.5 forward. I mean, there is
I
no
mean,
way.
we should say the
Yeah,
Premier League GOAT because our viewers may find it controversial because I mean the debate between Messi and Ronaldo has been there for ages,
yeah.
so it's better to say the Premier League GOAT.
Okay,
Yeah.
yeah, one of the
Hmm.
goats.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
So I mean, it is kind of self-explanatory that he has been given the 12.5 million price, the same as Salah. Now, I saw many people saying on Twitter, and they all seemed just salty that how can Ronaldo be placed more than Lukaku when they scored almost the same amount of goals in Serie A last season. Now, the thing is, there there is a weightage on Ronaldo's name. So there is no way he is going to be placed the same amount as Lukaku. I mean, Salah is a FPL legend,
Yeah.
consistent returns for all these seasons. So he had to be placed in the same bracket as him. Now, how does Ronaldo affect FPL or Manchester United's other FPL prospects? Now, as you said before, Greenwood does not lose his place. Like, there is no way, especially the form he is in, and Rashford is out. Plus, Sancho did not look great against Wolves.
Yeah.
I mean, I did not think honestly that he would take time to adjust, but it is clear that the space that he used to get in Bundesliga, he won't get that in Premier League naturally. So he will take some time to adjust. I'm not too concerned about it, but Greenwood doesn't lose his place anyway. I mean, Greenwood plays as center forward now. He will just be shifted to the right or left wing,
Yeah,
depending. It will
definitely.
depend on Ole. And the most it will affect is, of course, Bruno Fernandez. Now, Bruno Fernandez is 12 million. Ronaldo is 12.5 million. It almost seems logical that if you want Ronaldo in your team, you will ship out Bruno Fernandez. I mean, there was a debate on who is going to take penalties. Now, I saw a stat where the conversion rate for Fernandez was better than Ronaldo. And I mean, it is true. I mean, Bruno hasn't missed, I think, like two or three. He has missed two or three for United. He has scored every one of them. I mean, logically, it seems that you should let Fernandez continue to take the penalties, but we are talking about, of course, Ronaldo here, and Bruno idolizes Ronaldo. So I think it's a no-brainer that Ronaldo will take the penalties. And free kicks, honestly, it doesn't matter because like free kicks, like very rarely we see free kick goals in the Premier League. I mean, Bruno has scored free kick goals, but I mean they are very rare. So even if Ronaldo takes them, I won't mind or anything. And of course, Ronaldo will play as that number 9 that Cavani used to play. And he will be in the box. He will be looking for those headers from corners, from the wings. So in terms of transfers, I had two transfers this game week. Now I already made one transfer last night because I did Simicus to Duffy because I saw that Duffy was about to rise in price, and I could not afford that honestly because now that there are so many premiums, each 0.1 million is priceless. So I did Simicus to Duffy. So I have to take the -4 hit. What I'm planning to do is ship out Fernandez for a mid-priced midfielder and change Ings to Ronaldo. Now, my only concern is that whom I will bring in place of Fernandez. I have two options. Either I will go for Torres or I will go for wait. Is it Torres? Okay, who is that Manchester City player who scored a lot of points? It's
Ferran
Torres, right?
Torres. Ferran Torres, yeah.
Yeah, Ferran Torres, yes.
Mm-hmm.
Ferran Torres, and the other is Diogo Jota. Now, Firmino has an injury. He came off early in the match against Chelsea, and reports have been saying that he will take some weeks to come back. So it's a no-brainer that Jota will play. So I will naturally wait for further reports to come before the deadline. But if Firmino is confirmed out, I think I will kneel towards Jota. The thing about Ferran Torres is Ferran Torres already has got a price rise after his performance against Arsenal. I mean, at 7.1, he's looking a good prospect, but then again, it's Pep,
Pep roulette.
and nothing can be said about Pep. I mean, he can be benched again next game week, so that will always be a concern.
You can
But
consider one thing that Ferran Torres is playing a striker, and Manchester City doesn't has a proper number 9, as we know, and Jesus has been shifted to the right wing. He's playing well there at that position. He's playing actually better in that position than at the number 9 position. So I don't think Pep is playing Jesus at number 9 in Premier League for now at least. And with KDB, I think Kevin De Bruyne is still not fully fit, and Foden also not fully fit. I think Ferran may start in the upcoming matches. Yeah, I mean, if you say what happens after 10 matches, like there can be rotation in that range of spectrum. But like for now, if you say for the next 3 to 4 matches, I'm seeing, I don't want to predict something too early because it's after all Pep roulette. But since Ferran is playing as a proper striker and he's a midfielder in FPL, and with that price, I think the risk is worth taking, in my opinion.
yes, definitely. Another, I think I would have jumped ship on Ferran Torres if I already did not have Mahrez. That's a
Yeah,
factor. I will have to wait and see if Firmino is out. I am confirmed on Jota. If Firmino is not out, it's a decision. I may have to jump on Torres, but we will see. We will see. But one thing is sure that I am bringing Ronaldo in any way, and my plan is to ship him out after 3 game weeks and bring in Lukaku when Chelsea have good fixtures. So, what are your transfers that you have in your mind?
Um, thing is that Spurs defender are going very much under the radar. We definitely spoke about Spurs defenders last week, but maybe I was the one skeptical about bringing in Spurs defense. But seeing the last match against Watford, they aren't the most convincing now attackingly. I mean, they're scoring like one. They're like three of their wins are 1-0 wins, and like you would expect a team with Heung-min Son and Dele Alli and all those. I mean, lucrative assets, FPL assets to score more goals, but they only had scored one goal in all three of their matches. So, but defensively, they are so well organized. Even Mourinho, I mean, who is known for defensive organization, and like sometimes being criticized for bus parking. Even under him, I haven't seen such like proper organization of defense. And Spurs now they are looking like a proper defensive. I mean, like their structure is so well organized. I mean, the wing backs are tracking backs like as much as they're attacking, they're also tracking back very well. The center backs are playing very well. Their holding mids are so well positioned in the field, and even though they are not returning attackingly, so still their defense is has bailed them out all the three matches. And for now they're top of the league. I mean, it's only three matches, but still 3 out of 3, and all the 9 points isn't a matter of joke. So I think with Crystal Palace and fixtures like Arsenal to come to follow up in after this international break, I'm considering bringing in Reguilon for Stones, because, and I think sorry, I actually made the transfer because I didn't want like he already gave 9 points this match day, Reguilon. So it's probable that with fixtures like Crystal Palace and Arsenal, like who aren't the best attackingly, although Crystal Palace had scored 2 goals against West Ham, but still West Ham's defense aren't the most organized like Spurs. So Spurs, with even just keeping a clean sheet, Reguilon gave all 3 bonus points. He looks really good. He overlaps a lot of spaces. He puts in crosses, good crosses. I mean, he tracks backs too. He defends well, and for that, I think I may consider. I have already signed him because I have already taken him in place of Stones, because I wanted to avoid that price rise. And
Price change.
yeah, price rise. So with international break coming up, he hasn't been called up for Spain, so I don't think there is a major concern about injuries related to him until and unless he suffers an injury in training session, which is like, yeah, maybe played a gamble, but I wanted to avoid the price rise, so that like I get the funds to bring in Greenwood for Barnes. I haven't brought in Greenwood for Barnes as of yet. That is my only target for now. I will bring him maybe if his price doesn't go up like mammothly high. I have 1 million in the bank, and Barnes price dropped to 6.9, and that will give me 7.9, and I can easily bring in Greenwood. So I may make the Greenwood also hasn't been called up for the England national team for the World Cup qualifiers. So I think I will bringing him in the next 2 or 3 days, depending upon I like I already made one quick transfer. I don't want to make another quick transfer and lose a free transfer. I want to keep one transfer at least till the international break is over, in case any unfortunate injuries happen in this break. So these are for now my plans. And for premium striker option like Lukaku and Ronaldo, like this is a huge up for debate now. Like you cannot afford both Lukaku and Ronaldo, and you can
Actually,
you can, but then you
yeah,
have
the
to
team won't be balanced.
balanced. And
Yeah.
second of all, you cannot have midfield premium options. Like you have to sacrifice both Fernandez and Salah, or else.
I think we can still like we can squeeze one of them, but
Yeah, I mean,
yeah,
with
I
my
saw some drafts. Actually, I saw some drafts where people had Salah, Ronaldo, and Lukaku, but of course, like the other midfield options were like very cheap. They were
Yeah,
either
yeah, yeah.
6 million or 5.5
And
million.
also the defense also gets destabilized.
Yes.
Yeah, and I don't want to lose Trent because he's in very good form. He's defending well, he's attacking well. He's like the main creative outlet for his team right now. Trent. I mean, whenever he gets the ball, it looks like he's up to something, and he will play that final ball which will reach Salah or Mane in the attacking end. So I'm not getting rid of Trent. He's playing well. He's in good form, and I think a big haul is coming very soon from him. I don't want to jinx, but I feel this is my feeling, and yeah. So that's one thing. And if I have to choose one, I think I will Ronaldo. I mean, as much as his greatness is personified, he is on the decline. And yeah, as you said, he will play the number 9 role, but I have to see how he adjusts to this Manchester United side, how he links up with his teammates, how the others feed the ball to him, and how much is he getting in the he's able to beat because Premier League is a very physical league. And I mean, not like I'm not judging his qualities, but at this age, I mean, defenders can get the easily get the better of like very very popular strikers. Like we have seen Van Dijk not giving an inch of space to Lukaku against in that Liverpool versus Chelsea match. So I mean, this sort of things can happen, and I want to see things out before I make such a big move, because if I have to bring Ronaldo, I have to take a hit this week, and I am avoiding hits early at this stage, because like as season progresses with Champions League and those league cups to follow, we will see more and more injuries happen, and we will be forced into taking more hits. And with all those blank game weeks and double game weeks up for like happens at those time, like taking double hits and hits are like normal thing at the like it becomes a normal trend at that period. So I want to avoid early hits as much as possible until and unless an injury happens. So like Lukaku and Chelsea has a tough set of fixtures now. So I will wait and watch. My strikers hasn't been in the worst of forms. I mean, Antonio has been sensational for 3 matches, and he has good fixtures in upcoming games. And Tony, yeah, Tony at 6.5, yeah, he may have returned in 1 out of 3 matches. But since now that he has scored, I want to see 1 or 2 more matches. Like if he is able to score some more goals, like if he has finally adapted to the Premier League, or is like it was like that one timer. So I want to see things out first, and then I will make that big move. And if I have to bring someone, I want to bring Lukaku. So like Bruno obviously will get axed, but not right now.
Yeah, I mean, definitely that's a like many people are doing that, the wait and watch thing for Ronaldo, and I mean it's fair. I mean, we can't compare Syria with Premier League, and I mean, with all due respect to Ronaldo, I mean, as you said, it's more speedy, it's more physical, the intensity is more. So it's I don't think it's a bad idea for people who are waiting to bring in Ronaldo. My main reason was that fixtures are good, and I was planning to bring Lukaku, and yeah, maybe a bit of a United bias too. And other than that, Alexander Arnold. I mean, I will say this: out of the Liverpool defenders, I mean, especially the fullbacks, now that
Yes.
Tsimikas has shown that he can be really good. He's on those corners. He has provided assists. He has looked really good. There is a chance, a slight chance that Robertson gets rotated, but that won't happen with Alexander Arnold. So, I mean, if people had to choose one between the two, I think Alexander Arnold is the safer option. I am also considering to bring him in at a later stage, and I think defenders, I mean, as you said, Spurs defenders are going under the radar. I think even Chelsea defenders too. The
Yes.
fact that crowds are back, home advantage plays a lot of factor. I mean,
Definitely.
last season was an anomaly. There were no crowds, and teams were considering goals here and there. Now that crowds are there, I mean, defenses have been more solid at the back. So yeah, I mean, Chelsea defense is also something to consider when their fixtures get good from game week 7. And as you said about Spurs, their defenders, the fact that they're playing so defensively, their attacking output has been less. This also means that their defenders will get the bonus points. I mean,
Exactly.
Loris has been really great in terms of an FPL prospect. I mean, of course, not many people own him, but other than that, Reguilon, I mean, it's a great move and a no-brainer too, to bring Reguilon in place of Stones, and any Spurs defender, in my opinion, can be great. I think they are also signing a new right back today from
Yeah,
Barcelona.
yeah,
I think
Emerson.
it's
Yeah, yeah,
Emerson.
yeah.
Yeah, so everyone is saying that he will play in place of Tanganga. So we have to see what his FPL price will be. He can also be a option in the future.
I mean,
So
they also have
yeah,
Doherty in the bench.
yes, but
So
Doherty hasn't been like Doherty hasn't been a starter. I mean, I
yeah,
don't think Doherty is injured or anything, but Nuno has favored Tanganga. So I mean, they have the confidence link too. So maybe Doherty will get played there. So
yes,
yeah, everyone thought that Doherty will play since he was Nuno's favorite in Wolves. So that was kind
exactly.
of surprising.
Yeah,
Yeah. So I think that's good enough for today, and
yep.
we will. The international break is going on, so we will come again this week with a watch list like we did for last week, and we will talk about the players that we can target in the future game picks. So thank you for watching, and hope you enjoy the international break.
Thank you, guys.